2008, let's play a game World of Warcraft. Should be fun, the Burning Crusade. 17 years later with 4 years off in between. Here's my top 7 achievements to date. At number 7. Leveling 533 characters on this account out of 2. This section is going to be the longest of them all. And if you don't want to see this, skip to the next section. On Warcraft data, you can pull up all the information on your characters when it comes to achievements. Mount collections and all information is recorded in the public domain, and for main tryhards, you are measured against the world. For me, I had an inclination on seeing how many characters can I level, and over the space of a number of years, it grew. Started with 52 characters, then it went to 150, and during Dragonflight, it topped out at 533 characters at the moment, and if I feel like it, there's another 7 to level on this. Leveled all my characters using 2 druids who are both level 70 and used high-end PvP and end raid gear with a renowned level 22 item that increased damage by 50% for 10-second windows to clear many areas in under 3 minutes at a time. I only leveled 4 characters at a time from level 10 to 70 in roughly around 90 minutes, which took many weeks to do. But by the end of the Dragonflight, expansion had a full army of level 70s, with a guild banner for many of them adding 15% experience, and from level 20 onwards doing it in war mode made leveling extremely tedious but allowed me to level a whole army. One feature of Dragonflight that was very handy for boosting levels quickly was Drakthir starting out at level 58 and requiring to do the Starter Zone quests, which on its own managed to speedrun in 22 minutes, but as doing it on 5 accounts on. A potato laptop back in the day was topping out at around 55 minutes for 5 characters, then parking them at my leveling spot and letting my main clear everything. So having around 200 Drakthir characters shot my total levels of around 13,600 levels, gained but still had to finish the 60 to 70 aspect of it. Over time, the army has a purpose which I will lead to in the future, but for now, as you can see, is every single character I've named, leveled and played for over 5 hours per character, and my main has over a year played on it. Try and guess which one is my main. Now it's time to prove my characters, so here's all 8 accounts of mine with all my characters on this list you've just seen. This level of dedication has never been documented until now. Enjoy. Here's my army, starting from my main account and working to my last. Now, if you're wondering how is this even possible, I'm going to tell you the truth on how it can be done, and most importantly, this is not against terms of service. If it was in the past, a system called multi-boxing was allowed where one key stroke can be used to play all accounts, but at the end of Battle for Azeroth, the practice was finally deemed by Blizzard unethical and banned. To be clear, having multiple accounts is not against terms of service if only one account ever does one thing and your other characters do nothing, even if they are on a follow macro. That is fine, as I've played like that for over 4 years now and have not had one problem with it at all. However, technology and systems evolve, and I learned something very important during Shadowlands. You can be banned if you wheel scroll one account and then alt-tab or onto 8 tabs very fast and for hours. You won't get done for multi-boxing, however. You will get done for exploiting, which is against terms of service. I learned that the hard way and only got suspended instead of losing at the time over 200 characters and over 40 million gold. The highest one account can have is 65 characters that can be topped out at level 80 if all leveled and as of writing. This 617 accounts are over the 5200 alt level, which would mean that we are all playing fairly, otherwise you would have everyone at that level and no more. As you can see, with all the levels I've done to date, I'm lucky to still have hair after this. On my accounts, only one account has the war within expansion, and the rest were all capped at Dragonflight, as even me with the best will in the world got bored after completing everything I wanted to do, and turned my attention on travel and moving to a new country in New Zealand where I'm currently happy playing 13 hours ahead than I normally would. Each character you see has a name and after. Around 170 characters, I kind of lost the will to give proper names. Some names are numbers, others are from stars of the world I like watching, and others are simply just random or my mind telling me to stop. This game is additive to the point I've spent nearly half of my entire life playing, and for only a brief spell tried to stream but never got it to work. Life also had other plans, meeting people, traveling the world, and taking 2 breaks of around 3 years in between playing. During this time, I've raided with people who have gone on to be an Echo. The 2 I remember is Narcolyze when I was back in the day, a main tank during Cataclysm with the Guild, the Usual Suspects, and Naga and Genji for a small time during Blackrock Foundry. It was the last time I ever raided at a world-beating level, and for nearly 8 years resided myself to the fact that with the life I have, I could never world raid again, even when I had the skills to. We are nearly at the end of my entire list that is on this account. For future, I also have another BattleNet with 3 more accounts on that, with another 18 characters on there, and another 100 alts on that too. But for today, focusing on my main BattleNet account for this story to be told. And believe it or not, this is least favorite achievement of my 7 on this list. But to me, this guide has taken years to make and to come up with. So now I hope that seeing 533 characters over 8 accounts shows those who aspire to go to the top. I'll be waiting as only probably 2 people on Earth have a similar level to me as of writing this. Number 6, being 0.1779% in the world for honor gained. To be over level 500, you need 4.4 million honor gained. Here it is. Number 5, being in the 0.074% in the world for mounts. The effort to get this many would take you years if you started now, and some are unobtainable. Number 4, being top 0.0054% for characters leveled to max. This can get to 80 in 3 days if I ever finish leveling the rest from 77 that the 23 are now. Number 3, making over 500 million gold. Back in 2022, I was preparing a gold-making guide to show off how much gold I had on my characters and haven't updated it since. This, believe it or not, is 172 characters that I went into. See how much gold I've made in total on each character. When I totted it up, the total came to around 420 million gold. And you can do that yourself to see if my maths is right. This was 3 years ago these photos were taken, and since then I have another 350 plus characters since then. I've seen nearly every gold guide known to man and tested every method for myself, and I will tell you this. If a guide cannot net you 12,500 gold per character per hour, it is not worth your time at all. So what did I do? I made my own guides and methods that have never been revealed before. If enough people like this video view this and subscribe, there are at least 5 guides I do for myself, and I kid you not. If you have the resources of around 500 pounds, $800, or around 16 million gold, you would have the means to make gold, hand over fist, and to rule the economy like I've done for many years. The guides I could publish soon would be as follows. How with a little setup, make between 20 gold and 80,000 gold every 3 minutes. How with a sum setup, make between 100 gold and 500 gold every 5 minutes every day. How with a little setup, make certain 24,000 to 33,000 gold every 2 minutes. How with a lot of setup, make up to 2 million gold in gear in 90 minutes. How with a warlock and an army, make 960,000 gold in pets in 90 minutes. And, finally, if you have no life and spend weeks setting this up, you can make between 0G and 1 million gold in pets every 5 minutes that no one has ever done to a grand scale. These are the only guides I do. I don't do any farming when it comes to patterns transmog farming, as they are only worth what one person is willing to pay for it, even if an item is worth 2 million gold. To me, it's worth 300,000. There is one more guide that only I have, which if the stars align and I ever decide to publish, this will change the way millions of people could play this game forever. I'll hint at this guide at the end of the video. One thing I have learned that to be able to amass a fortune like this is that you need 2 accounts to have 96 characters to put 1 character on every auction to put your product on, especially if its pets as pets are realm-wide and not server-wide. This approach for me back in the day when I was more active was netting me between 600,000 and 1 million gold every day in sales. In the future, I can show what it is like to complete monopolize a market by taking an item worth normally 15,000 gold and selling it for half and replacing it as quickly, because people try to flip. Then they realize they can't flip if it gets replenished faster than they can sell. Right now, I'm only doing 3 farms, as since the start of this year I'm making videos for my channel, and this is probably the most specialized video I'll ever make, of a past I had and a legacy I created. Probably right now you have seen over 350 million earned, and I still have another 40 characters still to go. What this method of playing is a style that allows you to buy anything you want even when you don't have the time to do it yourself. Due to my time zone difference, I can never raid normally again, so make gold cap in 10 days and buy end boss mount. It's that simple in my world. But having the motivation to do it as fast as possible is waning for me. I have more fun doing it at a slower pace. On top of my main account, working on renown on my own and mount collecting with it, I do a balancing act between progressing the story and keeping my army fed, as it costs around 4.2 million gold a month to keep playing. Nearly at the end of this section, comment your thoughts and think about what you would have to do if you went all out the prospect of making 30 million gold a month on farming, and none of these farms are instant respawn and logging. All my characters would take now 5 hours to do, if one by one. Number 2. Being World 22 at Obtainable mounts collected. Having 1058 mounts collected, there's only 6 left I don't have. The current time-walking mount, the 3 million gold engineering mount, both Queen and Surek mounts, and 2 promotional mounts, meaning I can get to 1064 mounts, which would get me to World 1 within a week if I finish the job. Number 1. Getting the world's hardest mount in 3 months instead of 2 years. If you grinded 1 level a day of 8,800 honor, it would take you 500 days to get the hardest mount in the game. Working out how to do this, I stumbled on a trick that managed to skyrocket this process. It was slow to start with, but towards the end, I got this to farming around 8,900 honor in 20 minutes of game time, which is a whole level. Doing the maths, 4.4 million divided by 26,700 honor a hour. 164.79 hours of game time is needed for the fastest way to honor grind the coolest and most difficult mount ever traversed by people. If enough people subscribe, and over 1 million people, watch this, I'll show the world how you can do it for free. And finally, number 0. Being World 3 at levels farmed and World 1 on having the most expensive account on Earth. 6 months ago, I did level every character to level 70 to have the highest alt level possible of 36,400 levels farmed, and now with 42 level 80s and everything else, currently in the 0.001% of players at this category. As for the most expensive account, well, there's a figure in euros and gold. I can try and do as of end of Dragonflight as the example. This maths will be done on the premise that you do everything via the BattleNet store. 1 character to level 70 equals 49 euros times 520, or 25,480 euros, 8. Dragonflight games times 30 euros, 240 euros. To put a price on mounts, you would either have to farm yourself with odds ranging from 1 in 10 to 1 in 3,300, or buy mounts currently sellable on dodgy websites, including black market auction house mounts that are unobtainable, and many go for 10 million gold, which equals, as of today, 250 euros per mount. I'll be conservative and say the total value of all the mounts I currently own is 75,000 euros. So add everything together makes my account worth 100,720 euros. If turned into gold, and 1 WoW token equaling 10 euros, being 400,000 gold, would equal TASB 4.02 billion gold, or 172 WoW tokens. And that's my story. I'm glad I finally got to share this, and it's the account that, based on the way of the world, even Elon Musk could buy one day. Would I sell this? No. I've put too much work into this to let this go. I may do more videos. This may break the WoW community internet, or may raise the prospect that this game changes lives. It certainly changed my life. Subscribe for